January the 28th to order. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Boynton,
Here.
Mr. Kennedy,
Here.
Mrs. Patterson,
Present.
Mr. Stevens,
Here.
Mr. Tench.
Here.
Thank you. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, board members, this meeting was called about discussion about us being ready for Monday, February the 1st, board meeting, for our schools to open. And Dr. Selico, you're on stage.
Ms. Patterson,
Yes.
if you don't mind, can I just say a few words before Dr. Selico gets started? Because I guess I was the one that really called the meeting, and
Okay.
in order to move on. And it's not going to take long, and then Dr. Selico can go ahead with whatever questions, if you don't mind me taking the stage right now.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
You have a pencil, Miss Dr. Selico, so you can write down the questions. You ready for the questions?
Okay, no, and this is not going to take long, because I know some of our colleagues have to move forward and go on and have some other things so that we can move on. But the reason why this meeting was called was because we said as a board that we were going to get back together, just like we did the first quarter, to determine what's next. And I'm glad that I somewhat remembered, because I know we said February 1st was going to be the targeted date that we would come back, and that we were going to meet to determine where we are, what was going on, where we are with the plan, and just making sure that everyone was aboard. And I guess time went by, because I really forgot and just noticed it Tuesday that we haven't met regarding what we're doing, what's going on, and is everybody on the same page? And so I did speak with Dr. Selico pertaining to that, and Dr. Selico had indicated that, well, hey, I guess from her feelings, that the majority of the board is saying, hey, let's move on. But I get that. If you have the majority of the board to say yes, okay, we move on. But what about those other board members who, may have some questions or concerns, or even some things that may need to be brought up? So we just cannot dismiss everybody because we have the majority. And that's what makes, brought to the attention of that we need to have a meeting, just like we did the last time, and to discuss and to see where we are, so that we can move forward, regardless what the outcome may be. So that's why it was called by me, because I went and spoke with Ms. Patterson about it. And I thank Ms. Patterson for reaching out and holding this meeting at this time, so that we are consistent as a board in how we do things as much as possible. Because, we said we were going to do that, and it did not happen. So I guess a closed mouth, as long as nobody said anything, then it's okay to move forward. So that's why we're here. And that's all I got to say. And basically, I don't know if there's any additional questions that other board members may have pertaining to where we are. But see, we cannot divide just because we have the majority of the board to say, let's move forward. And and I know correspondence has been going on through Friday notes and those type of things and so forth. But we were supposed to meet, and that's what I was expecting us to do. Now, Friday, February the 1st was the targeted date. It still was not the date that they were going to come back, even though that's the targeted date. But we as a board was supposed to get together and say where we are. So that's where we are, and I appreciate Ms. Patterson in doing that. And at the end, we can go ahead and say, hey, you know, who's for it, who's not. But regardless, if you got the majority of the vote, then it is what it is. That's fine. But I'm not to vote because this does not need a vote, but the majority of the board to say move forward, then it is what it is. And we need to just let it be known where we are publicly and who, you know, and you know, we have the right for, you know, we have to give people respect by coming together and how we come to this decision basically. Okay, and that's it. So Ms. Patterson, Dr. Settle can go ahead and go from there and we move on. Okay. Thank you.
Dr. Selico. You're muted.
Thank you. Sorry. Yeah, we say that a lot to people, don't we? Mrs. Patterson, I would be glad to field any questions. I don't know what exactly if anything you need to share. I know we've been sharing a lot of the stuff that we've been doing. Our staff has been working extremely hard, extra time. I visited all buildings this week to ensure that things are in place. You know, we're doing the best we can. There certainly will be, and I'm not going to hide the fact that there will be bumps along the way. I absolutely anticipate problems on Monday morning. I do. We had them in March. We had them in August. We had them in September. And I anticipate them happening again in February. But we've done everything we can to prepare. We still have some last minute things that we have to do relative to staffing, just to be very honest. And that reason is we've had people as of today requesting FMLA leave. So there's only so much we can do with our staffing. But I can tell you that Dr. Johnson has been working nonstop around the clock interviewing, and she has been since the December grads came out. So I just, you know, we're ready to go. I have everything. I've got reports from principals and every director and supervisor this week on their bulleted checklist, everything that I asked them to do. So they submitted a report to me this week. I reviewed them all, and so I think we're ready to go, and very excited to see our kids.
Now, one question I would have for Dr. Selico, Ms. Patterson, Dr. Selico, by the survey that you sent out, do you feel that from the grade levels that you have, would you say the majority of the parents throughout the district would stay virtual or go to the hybrid model? From looking at the survey, I thought that I saw maybe from grades 4 through 12, the majority of the parents are saying virtual. Am I reading? Did I read that wrong? Just the survey that was given.
Yeah, I have those results in front of me, and I tallied. The district is 44% returning, and so that's a little over 1,200 students, and it does vary by school. I will say that the lowest return is at Columbus, and followed by Heskett, and then wait, let me make sure I'm looking at the right one. Virtual, yes. So in person, right? Columbus is the lowest, followed by Heskett, and then our highest school is Carrollwood, actually.
Okay. So would you say overall the majority? I mean, from that span, would you say the majority of the people, it may not be that much of a difference in the ratings, but would you say the majority of the board would want to stay home, virtual or not?
It's 56% of the district want to stay home and 44% want to come in.
And 44 to come in. Now, if you use that same analogy as the majority of the board says move on, the majority of the people says stay home and virtually. I'm just bringing that up. You know, the majority, you know, just bringing it up of how that were, so, if you go the majority of the board, and I know the majority of the board moves on and the majority of the board gives the okay to do that, but the majority of the people say, hey, stay home too. But that's okay. That's fine. But I just wanted to put it out there. The majority of the people says virtual. Okay, that's all I needed to know. Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Patterson. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to ask Dr. Selico, when you did the survey, the number of students that are going to return, you said was 44% in actual numbers. How many students is that? 500-600?
So what it amounts to now, recall too that people did not all complete the surveys. So I didn't, but we had a couple hundred at least that did not complete it. So we put them into the virtual numbers. But the total that want to return as of these numbers is 1,233 students would be returning to school.
Okay.
And then 1,578 would not be, would be virtual.
Okay. All right. And so as far as staffing, Dr. Johnson, where do we stand with staffing?
In terms of staffing, as Dr. Selico stated, we never know what might happen. Like as of tomorrow, say I might have someone that gets sick because I have some non-COVID situations going on. But in terms of staffing, at the middle school, we're good. We're covered there. At the high school, due to non-COVID issue, I still have one individual, and I don't want to give departments just because of privacy. In one of the departments, I need an individual due to non-COVID related. I have another department too due to non-COVID related, and then I have one COVID related person taking a leave. So that would be 4. But I do have, I do have building subs that are covering those. And then I do have a couple of interviews tomorrow. So, and the good thing about our building subs, one, I want to thank you, board, for approving those because we've had those all year and those individuals have been dedicated. They've been coming and they're coming through for us. So they will be able to cover those positions and the kids know them. At Columbus and Carrollwood, we're covered. My fingers and my toes, everything's crossed. And then at Central, we're covered. And then at Glendale, I am waiting on one response for a sub to pick that up. And then I'll have one open. If for some reason I can't fill that, then I'll reassign a building sub.
Okay. And as far as hand sanitizers and COVID related stuff, Mr. Zagrabic, we're through with that. We have enough of that so that everybody feels comfortable.
Yep, the superintendent made sure of that. And
Okay.
John has supplies, and Mr. Elder has supplies. We have nurses, we have isolation rooms, we have everything we need to satisfy both the people who want to send their children to school and the people who want to stay virtual.
Okay, thank you. All right. And I must say to board, yesterday I was up for the opening of the community room. It is phenomenal, the stuff that they have in there. So if you know of anyone that needs anything, clothes, I want to wash their clothes, don't have soap powder, soap, anything, they have it in that community room. It was very, very nice yesterday. Thank you, Dr. Selico, and your staff and the National Council of Jewish Women for putting that together because it is really phenomenal. And I hope that all board members at least walk through to see it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any
Thank
other
you.
questions for Dr. Selico?
Yeah, Dr. Selico, on the numbers you gave us, you just gave us, was it 56 to 44?
Yes.
That 56%, that includes the parents that did not respond. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I got a question. What are we doing with people who are changing their mind now?
Can't.
We've been holding our ground. The principals have said no to a lot of folks. There have been a few exceptions that make sense. We've had some very few exceptions, but there were some that we had to talk about and have made some arrangements, but that we've stood our ground on that.
So the deadline was January the 13th, and that was it.
Yeah, and we even gave parents a chance, and that's, I think I shared with the board all the attempts that we made to notify parents that this was your last chance. We did give them a chance to change their minds. So, yeah.
Mrs. Boynton, you have a question?
I do not have a question. I would just like to make a comment. I would like to publicly thank Dr. Selico and her staff and just everyone for all the hard work, Jerry, everyone, and making sure that things are in place for the return to school plan. It is so important that people are informed because you have to ease all those anxieties. I can speak on that because we did start back on Monday in the school district where I'm employed, and a lot of people wanted to come back, and now they're back. And as Dr. Selico said, there will be some glitches, and I can attest to that. There are several glitches, but there were glitches that were easy fixes, and it's happened. And there's on Monday there was some. It was Tuesday, Wednesday, and it's probably going to continue for the next couple of weeks because there are some things that are on the screen. But I have to say that they were addressed immediately. And I just hope that when those things happen at Bedford, because they will happen in our district, that they are brought to the attention of the individual that can rectify whatever the glitches are. But it has been, I'm speaking in the district where I work, it's working fine. So just so you know that I just wanted to say thank you because I know it was a lot of hard work, and it will continue to be some hard work that's going to be happening next week and probably the week after until, because it's like the first day of school, which it really is the first day of school. And we have those issues. So thank you.
Right. Thank you. Yes, because if it was August the 24th, they would have problems and they would work them out. The same thing. So we'll work these problems out, and hopefully that we'll get more kids later on to return to school. Are there any other questions for any member of the administrative team?
Ms. President, I would like to ditto as well from Ms. Boynton stated. Thank everyone for their time and effort and trying to pull this thing together regarding that, the first day back to school as you indicated. And I would like to thank everybody, for their time and effort for putting this thing together. Dr. Selico, thank you for your efforts as well, personally, and cabinet and everyone for, sticking in there. Thank you.
Yes.
This was entirely a team effort all the way down the line, including us. And I think, Phil, in directing to your concern as far as the majority, and I get that, and that's how this country is based on majority, and we're also based on fairness, and with 56 to 44 difference, it's pretty close to a 50-50 split. And if we did not open up the schools and give them that option, then the parents that did want their children back into schools, they didn't have that choice. And by doing it this way, if you don't want to come back and if you don't feel comfortable having your students come back, we understand that you're not held, in any less regard than the kids that are coming back. And I think this is the fairest way we can do this as a district. And I applaud superintendent and her whole cabinet and staff that they have gone over and above the call of duty in educating our students to this point. And it's time to get them back in. From the get-go, I was not a proponent of coming back while this issue was still unresolved. But had the numbers climbed in the last couple of weeks since the holidays and everything, I would be a little hesitant to have our students come back. But it seems like we have kind of leveled out as in the county and in the surrounding areas, and I feel very comfortable in the procedures we have in place that our students and staff are going to be protected to the best of our ability, and feel very confident that we're going to be able to pull this off. So
Mr. Tench, I'm glad you did mention that, because I was going to remind you of what you did state publicly that, hey, if it was up to me, we wouldn't come back until the fall.
And
And you did say that. And I don't, and I guess, you had a different mindset based on your reasoning for thinking differently. And I understand that.
Well, and if you recall, Phil, and to be in all honesty, I said yes. I still stand by that. I would have been fine with keeping the schools closed the whole year, all the way through May, if things hadn't changed. In light that it seems like it's calmed down, and I said at the time too that if things change, we could reevaluate and we can revisit it, which is what we've done. And that was my change of heart as far as that goes. But believe you me, if the numbers were rising or they were where they were in December or November, I wouldn't want the kids back either.
Yeah, and actually, the problem that I have with this whole thing, and that's fine. We're open to our feelings and suggestions. The problem that I had with this process is that we did not meet like we said we would. And because you had the majority, that's just because you have the majority, it's okay to do. It's okay to move forward. But no, it doesn't work like that. And it shouldn't work like that. You should be able to hear others' opinions and be able to stress those things. I get it. And we cannot operate in that manner because that can create a division among board, because that has happened on other occasions. You had to retract and say, hey, no, just because you got the majority doesn't mean you got all the board in sync. So that's why I had to reach out to Ms. Patterson as the president to let her know, or to inform her, hey, we did not follow this the way we said we were going to. And that's important.
I see what you're saying.
That is important to me. So that's all. Thank you.
Okay. And I like to say thank you to everybody. Our principals I think they're doing double, triple time, because they have been calling and leaving messages to parents. And it's just wonderful that everybody's on board. Everybody's ready to go. Everybody wants to get back in school. So thank you all.
I got one thing to say, Ms. Patterson, if I could. It's full go. I get that. And nice job to Dr. Selico, the teachers, all the staff. But I wholeheartedly agree with Phil in that we had no problem having meetings when the decision was the opposite. But after that meeting we had, and it was stated that February 1st was the tentative date, it was taken literally that was the date, and everybody just started moving forward. And Mr. Stevens is right in that we never were approached over the last 3 weeks about having a meeting or discussing it further, even though there was probably a majority of the board that wanted to go forward. So I'm with it going forward. I'm reluctant, but I totally agree with Mr. Stevens in that the process here was a little flawed when it was going one way and not the other.
Well, I think we corrected the flaw. He reminded me, and I called the meeting. So that's
you called the meeting 2 days before it's supposed to happen.
Well,
that's my only concern, Ms. Patterson. I'm done. I just
Okay. Well, I forgot about that we were supposed to have a meeting. When he reminded me, I jumped right on it, and so that's why we're having.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay. Are there any other questions for Dr. Selico or any of the staff?
Well, as we all see, and we've given our, I guess, as indicated, the majority. And I don't know if you plan on just having a poll on who's for and who's against it, but I am not for it at this time. So I would be the one to say no. I could be the long dog on but I am not for it. And if the majority of the board is for it, that's fine. But I just want it to be known. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Anybody else?
I we are so far, we have 2 feet in the water now. You can't turn back. I'm not totally for it, but we have to move forward now.
Well, you got the majority of the vote, and the majority of the board, that is, to move
Well, I'm
forward.
just saying, I mean, we're in it, and they've done all this work, and we might as well plow through it and get the kids back, and
I agree.
but I'm was a little reluctant 3 weeks ago, and I am today. But let's just move forward.
Got you. Yeah, we're going to, because we have the majority. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Dr. Selico, you have anything else for us?
I do not.
Okay, move for adjournment.
Dr.
So
Selick.
It's been moved by who?
Rob Kennedy.
Mr. Kennedy, second.
Mr. Stevens?
Okay, it's been properly moved and second by Mr. Stevens. Roll call, please.
Mr. Kennedy,
Aye.
Mr. Stevens,
Aye.
Mrs. Boynton,
Aye.
Tench,
Aye.
Mrs. Patterson.
Aye. 5-0. Thank you, board. Mr. Kennedy, I promised you 5:30. I am 4 minutes before 5:30. All right. Thank you, board. Thank you, everybody.